traditional sense. Justice for the poor. Extreme poverty is one of the gravest affronts to humanity. So that is my, during my campaign for office of president, I spoke about being the president of the poor and really trying to do things to resolve this injustice in the world, in Timor and in the world. How we can really reduce, eliminate poverty. So that's my, sometimes I read about, outgoing President Bill Clinton, former President Clinton, and others concerned about that place in history. Well, I really don't care what people think about me when I'm dead.
I will not do, it doesn't bother me because I'm dead, so if I'm in heaven, well, whatever you people think on earth about me, I just, as while alive, I want to be able to do very practical, basic things. And sometimes I get very infuriated when I hear certain responses from, I give you an example. About 2, 3, 4 years ago, I read a very touching article in Weekly Guardian in the UK about a father and mother, the parents, in Afghanistan, selling their daughter into a marriage with, the girl was only 12, selling the daughter into marrying a man who was 60 in order for something like $400. And I immediately told my staff in the office to contact Guardian, how we can trace back this family. And I thought, I want to buy the girl back, give it back to her parents. Well, the journalist in the Guardian responded very, very touching. He said, well, we have known Ramos-Horta for many years and always admire him for his, and so they tried to put me in touch with an international NGO. I don't mention the name. That international NGO that was the source of the story. What really angered me was the response from this international NGO that are supposed to be humanitarian. He said that tell the minister, I was foreign minister at the time, not to worry about that because there are many thousands of cases like that in Afghanistan. I said, excuse me, I want to save at least one girl. If I save one, So my point is, we try to do small things ourselves in our daily lives, even helping just one person. As for the legacy, I don't care. I care is about, and one thing I experienced in my own life, when in 2000, when I went back home after 24 years in exile, I started the first microcredit program in Timor. Today, extremely poorly managed by those I entrusted the money with. I don't mention the name of the NGO that's managing this microcredit, but anyway, what I wanted to do was to, in a rational way, help the poor with some money that I had from the Nobel Peace Prize money, and some friends gave me some money, like former President Kim Dae-jun, and I put in that fund. Well, what I noticed was, when in the beginning I wanted to be on top of it, see how things develop. I would go there regularly, again and again, to the NGO to see how things were processing. I would see the women coming to, ask for the loan. And they were so shy, intimidated, poorly dressed. A month later, they would come back to receive the money. I was there again to hand over the envelopes. They had put a nice, clean sarong. They look happier. and looking at their faces, happier, I felt happy. And then I thought, God, I'm not only making them happy, I'm making myself happy. You have this thing inside you that you're making someone happy, and you feel it. So it's a two-way street. So I think that's what we as human beings, as leaders, should be do. Practical things, small things in life to help others in need. So it's not a big philosophy, it's just sentiment. Then if you have power, the uses of power, the privilege of power, you can do much more than helping 1, 2, 3. So now in terms of the judiciary in Timor, our legal system and rule of law, we started off from zero in 2000. In 2000, the UN and our friends made some major mistakes at the time. They should have, in retrospect, pick up 50, 100 East Timorese and send to 3, 5 years, 6 years degrees training. Today we'd have a good number of judges, of clerks, and all of that. Instead, the UN, the first thing they did was to send a group of people to Darwin for a 2-week training. Short courses to be judges and so on. Well, only a few years after independence, after that, we start investing much more seriously in doing training in bilateral arrangements with Portugal, helping tremendously, Brazil, because we share the same civil law system. We have improved a lot, but still a lot remain to be done. In terms of issues of often alleged, impunity, well, the fact is, in many other countries, yours and many developing countries, issues are never easy to resolve, particularly when we are a very young country with serious problems of cohesion, and then trying to bring to justice, according to the Western and traditional concept of prosecutorial justice, anyone involved in the problems. Let's say the 2006 crisis. Well, for the same reason that one of our ministers went to jail, Mr. Rogério Lobato, a few others would go. Well, just imagine what happened to the country. A few weeks ago, I pardoned, among others, one former militia. He had been sentenced to more than 30 years in prison for murder and rape and all kinds of abominable crimes. If you read, your first reaction would be never to pardon such an individual. Well, he was sentenced by a UN hybrid international court in Timor for more than 30 years. Our own constitution established as a limit maximum sentence is 25 years. We don't have life in prison, we don't have death penalty, and maximum is 25. The UN imposed 35 on him. Of course, when we became independent, that was revised and came down to under 25. He served 8 years. Good behavior. And 8 years later, I decided to pardon him and many others. Why? Well, a few weeks after that, I, as President of the Republic, Prime Minister Ana Guzmão, Foreign Minister Zacarias Costa, former Prime Minister Mario Alcatiri, headed to Bali, Denpasar, to receive from 10 independent commissioners of truth and friendship, a joint body established between Timor-Leste and Indonesia to look at the crimes of '99, to receive the final report. in the terms of reference that we had agreed in 2005, there was never contemplating prosecutorial approach, particularly in regard to individual responsibilities. Instead, Indonesia and Timor-Leste agreed to look at institutional responsibilities. Well, that being the case, it means no serving Indonesian military officer, retired Indonesian officer, ever would go to jail. But can anyone really believe that in Indonesia today, a court would take a top general to jail for what happened in '99? It would never happen. And if '99, why not '75, '77? There are greater crimes occurred between '75 and '99 than in '99 itself. When we agreed with the Truth and Friendship Commission, we knew, like South Africa, like Chile, that sometimes we have to make these concessions to peace. And sometimes you really have to buy peace. And those who tell me that peace agreements, many of them are a road to impunity, I dispute that. I give an example. Mozambique. A civil war lasted more than 10 years, resulting in more than 1 million people slaughtered. 80 to 90% by the then rebel movement called Renamo. A peace agreement was mediated by Community Sant'Egidio, many of you familiar, connected to the Vatican in Rome, that has an outstanding peacemaking in many parts of the world. This peace agreement in Mozambique is one of the most successful ever in modern conflict resolution. No one from Renamo in Mozambique ever went to trial, to jail. The leader, Jalkama, was presidential candidate, and today the second largest party in the parliament for the last 10 years. It has survived more than 10 years now, the peace agreement. Well, and often international tribunals, as you know, not often, always imposed by the victor on the vanquished. Nuremberg, Tokyo, Rwanda, ex-Yugoslavia. Tell me which international tribunal was ever imposed on a non-defeated country or army. Well, Indonesia didn't leave Timor defeated. They left Timor under an agreement worked out with the United Nations,